Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick from the city of Hampton, and today we are going to have a discussion about planting in the fall, and Carol King, Master Gardener, is going to walk us through it. Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, in particular as we are looking forward to our fall plant sale.
Very exciting.
Yes, this year will be Saturday, October 8th. That's a little unusual for us to be that late. But we had internal issues with the last weekend in October, or in September, coming up, and crawling crab, we defer. So,
but as warm as it's been, it's not too late for people to plant at all. I mean,
No.
It's probably better.
In many ways, it's better, and also it gives us the opportunity to grow fall vegetables. So we're going to have a fair amount of nice fall vegetables that right now I was looking at them yesterday, and they're kind of tiny right yet. And as hot as it's been through the summer, they don't grow real well till it starts to cool down.
Well, since you brought it up, what are the fall vegetables here? Because I know I've tried to grow spinach in the spring. It doesn't. Either I've started too late,
Yes.
or it just didn't last. I think that one might be good in the fall, right?
If you can get them started, the lettuces, all of those work. The cabbages, a whole family of the broccolis and all of those. And then the crops, and I don't know if we have any of these, but crops such as the root crops, the turnips, the parsnips, the carrots, and all of those in particular, if you can leave them, you grow them and then leave them in the ground as over the cold season, and then harvest them later on in the winter, and that cold soil helps make the roots sweeter, because the plant, of course, stores, the plant stores up
energy, sugars
in the roots over the winter. And so in the cold season, then it's going to do more of that, and so your turnip that you harvest in early March is going to be a much nicer turnip.
Wonderful. Okay, so we can get those at the plant sale.
Mm-hmm.
What about, I'm particularly interested in shrubs, bushes, kind of landscapey things.
Yeah, this is the time we really try hard to have a nice selection of woody plants. Mostly our trees, we've got a good line in figs, small little tiny figs, and they grow very well here, very well. They don't really like the cold, so they want to be in a bit of a sheltered spot with a lot of warmth and sun.
Yeah, but they have ours real close to the brick of the house, so
exactly.
I think that helps it.
Exactly so, and they can be cut back as well, so that's not really an issue there. But we have then in the shrubs, so the sweet spire, the beautyberry, some of the other of that ilk. We have a bunch of those.
And those are all three natives, right?
Yes.
They're used to growing in this area. They're good for this area. They're good for the birds that live in this area, and the pollinators.
And they will tend to form. I know I have sweet spire. I have both the sweet spire and beautyberry at home, and they will tend to form kind of thickets a little bit. So you plant one bush, and it'll have little ones coming up from the roots.
That makes sense, because a friend gave me some beautyberry offshoots from his.
Yes, exactly. And so then if you have, mine is in a space between the lawn over here and the walkway and the street in a tree. And so right there, and so it's all lush and full. And then in the spring, I have the flowers from the sweet spire, and then in the fall, it has wonderful red color, as you know. Okay,
they're beautiful.
And then the beautyberry comes along in the spring, with late spring comes up, and it takes its time, gives me time to get out there and cut out some dead limbs and keep it up a little neat, but. It's pretty easy to just thin it out a little bit, and
Well,
then
as you know, so many people here have what would be traditional landscaping kinds of things, like
Hollies
boxwoods came
and boxwoods.
with my house. And
Correct.
they did all right, but they didn't really thrive, and they got all kinds of bugs. And we've tried to put in some things that are more earth friendly, and those would include. You've mentioned 3. What else are good sort of kind of foundation plantings?
Well, oddly enough, there are some big ferns that you can do. I've been doing a lot with lately, and we will.
And those might grow in more shady areas.
They grow
which
in
is
shade.
One of my problems.
More shade.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have a good patch of lady ferns, I know, because I've been growing them.
Your brand names.
They're deciduous. They die off in the winter, and they get maybe 18 inches tall.
Okay.
But when you find them, I also have, and I don't think we have them on the plant sale because I haven't been able to make enough of them yet. But easy to find. It is something called an autumn fern, which stays up all year. It's called autumn fern because the new growth looks like autumn colors.
Oh, wow.
Which is interesting.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And they will take some sun. So that's a good bet. The Japanese holly fern's not native, of course. Neither is the autumn fern. But the Japanese holly fern is an evergreen, gets up to so big, will take some sun,
Awesome.
morning sun. Sturdy as I'll get out, and it's called a holly fern because the edges of the pieces of the frond, the pinnules, I think, they look kind of like little holly leaves. They have, yeah.
Well, tell us about some more
So-
plants that you guys are going to have this October 8th.
Yes. Well, so then there are the perennials that die away and come back. So we always have a certain amount of hibiscuses. There's
And the hibiscus, those are the more native ones, the
Yes.
mallow type.
They are all mallows.
Okay.
Yes. And I think ours are pretty much natives.
And we need to people need to understand they're not the tropical hibiscus that you get
No,
that only lasts.
The
but
flowers.
they look like it. They're
the
huge.
flowers look like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. There's those. There's also something that's not sure where it's native to, not here, but the Miss Huff lantana is a good.
That's the one.
The good example of, now it dies back in the winter, but it does leave a kind of a woody looking
Right.
leftover woody from this year, and then it'll put out new growth next year. All the other lantanas are iffy. They are sold here as annuals because they really won't take the winter, although
Well, we've had some mild winters.
if you have a really mild winter and you have a nice protected spot where the soil stays warm, some of them will actually, I've had them come back.
but much safer to get the Miss Huff.
The
I
Miss
think.
Huff is the one that, because it doesn't die back each year, so its roots can continue to grow. So it will get up
Yeah.
so big, bright orange and red flowers all from midsummer onward.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And then another one that is really not planted as much as it could be is the Mexican bush sage.
Oh, right.
That one, again, dies back completely. You just have stalks, woody stalks, which I leave up over the winter for the sake of critters that want to live inside through the winter.
You guys have been telling us that.
Yes,
Don't
right.
clean out your gardens
Not completely,
over the
no.
winter. Do it. Wait till the spring.
Right, and enjoy, actually, all the leftover bits, the old... So
And some of them are seed pods.
Are
you
seed
know.
pods, and they're really decorative.
Mallows do, definitely.
Yes, yeah. So for the Mexican bush sage, it doesn't stir until
It's a later,
June, yeah.
yeah.
And then it starts to put out. So you plant spring things that flower, even annuals.
Okay.
Around it where it is, and then once
Oh, right.
by midsummer,
When those are
then
dying back.
they're dying back, and then up it comes, and they've been blooming now for about 2 weeks. It's a purple with white.
It's a dark bluish.
It's a dark blue purple. with little white, as the flower, it's a stalk of flowers, and as each flower opens up, it's got a little white piece to it. So you have this fountain of green shoots, and they're about 4 feet tall.
All right. Well, let's talk about a couple other things that people would want to plant in the fall that you know is going to be at the sale. And we will tell people the hours of the sale are
9 to 12. And the ground rules, please, if you have a wagon, bring it. We have carts to transport, and we'll have boxes to put them in. But especially, we're not going to try in the spring. We're still working on some COVID concerns, and we did try to limit the number of people that were in at any one time. It led to kind of an unfortunately long line, which we're very sorry. So we're not going to do that.
Okay.
This time. We'll just hope people will space themselves out, and so we'll open the doors and come on in. What we're going to try to do is space the plants out a little bit more.
Oh, that's smart. It
Yes.
gives a little more room. Okay.
So it will probably cover a little bit more of the arboretum.
And you will have the areas marked really clearly, like you always do,
Right.
about these are bulbs, these are shrubs,
an
here's
area-
where the vegetables are.
Right. Vegetables, mostly, it's pretty much 4 groupings. Houseplants are always a big deal.
Oh, that's right. It's a good time of year for
this
that.
time of year, absolutely. And then the woody shrubs and trees, shade plants. So, like I said, the ferns. Oh, helleborus.
Okay, tell people what that is in our language.
Helleborus is known as a Lenten rose. They bloom, they're evergreen ground cover with a wonderful dark green leaf, stand about 1.5 feet tall, and their flowers come out in January and last through April. I've had them until May.
They are
And
the most
they're-
wonderful things because I was trying to have something blooming at all times.
Yes.
And they filled in the gap.
They do, and they shade the ground because they're evergreen, so they keep other weeds down. They want shade.
Yes.
They will take a little sun, little morning sun. In a colder climate, they will grow in this full sun. But it's just here for the summer's heat. They want to be in the shade. But otherwise, once they're established, they don't usually need much extra water.
Mine have survived
they
really well
dry
underneath
shade.
the holly where nothing else will grow.
Right, dry
And,
shade. And then those wonderful blooms in shades of white or pink or a greenish color.
Yeah.
Or even a dark blue. I've seen a few. But
Well, if
anyway,
people are
we will
looking
have
for-
a fair
number of those. Okay,
fair
good.
number of those, which they're not real fast growing.
Mm-hmm.
It may take you 2 years to get it up to full speed, but once they're there, they will put out seeds, and then over time they'll fill in around themselves. Not rampant, not running like crazy, but in a couple of years you have a patch, which
That's nice. Yeah.
it's just gorgeous, and then it flowers.
Well, if people are looking for trees at this
Okay.
time of year, you're the tree steward.
Yeah.
You are the most knowledgeable person, I think, in this area about trees.
I know.
Well, one of the most. How's that?
Right, that's right. Volunteer.
What would you recommend? What might you have for sale there? Do you know yet?
We don't have a whole lot of the trees that you might be thinking of. I'd like us to get into that more. We wind up fostering trees that we get from the Department of Forestry or
that's nice.
from we got a bunch as a gift from Bartlett Trees a couple of years ago, and then rather than selling them, we just wanted to. But
Right.
but it's very easy to go to Arbor Day and get those, or you can go to the Virginia Department of Forestry in the fall. They have a seedling nursery for a couple of dollars a stem.
Oh, great.
You typically have to order a few, like 5 or 10.
But you can give the rest away if you have to. Most of us don't
Right.
have a big enough
And
piece of land to hold
no,
too
but
many.
you can, we'll take them off your hands.
Sure.
Whatever. And they'll come in as little whips with a little bitty, a ball of soil around it like that, and it's about that thick and it's about that tall, and it's this year's sprout.
Okay.
So you put it in a pot, and by 6 months from then, it's ready for a bigger pot, and it's this tall. And you can put it in the ground then, or wait one more year, one more bigger pot if you want. But the idea is, in the fall, and this is why fall planting is so important, woody shrubs in particular, they grow based upon the health of their roots. We all look at the part above the ground.
Right.
But what's really happening is what's below the ground. And what's below the ground right now is, as you go into the fall, the air is getting cooler, but soil doesn't cool down as fast as the air. So the soil is still warm for quite a while the air is cooling down, and the trees, the upper part of that tree, is going into beginning to think about some kind of dormancy. They're not putting out their flowers. They're getting ready to drop their leaves in a while. Their metabolism up above is still functioning just fine, but they're not being distracted by flowers and fruit and so forth. So they can put more energy into their roots at a time when the soil is still warm.
And more damp than it tends to be in July and August around here.
Correct. And then once you plant it in the fall, then the roots get started growing, then they have all winter to get comfortable in that soil, to get their networks with the little fungi that help them pull the minerals out of the soil, and they get themselves settled for a good year of growing. And then when the spring comes, those roots are already ready to go.
That's
As
great.
opposed to planting in the spring, think reverse, the soil is cooler as the air warms up.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming by, Carol. I
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. And I will tell you that one of the best things about the Master Gardener plant sale is that Master Gardeners like Carol and many, many more are there. They will help you pick out the right plant. They will answer your questions. They have handy dandy sheets that you can look at, but you get this free advice from the volunteers in person, and that is very valuable. And also, the plants are a really good buy. So I do hope to see you there October the 8th. It'll be in the morning. They'll be gone by noon. So don't forget to come by Bluebird Gap Farm. Thank you so much.